Welcome to California in Focus. I'm Eliana Kernodle. The impact of fentanyl on communities, families, and individuals across the country has only grown in recent years. California especially has seen these impacts. There are some staggering numbers on this from the California National Guard. Joining me today is Kenneth Schrupp, California reporter for the Center Square. Kenneth, what data did the governor's office release about fentanyl seizures in the last year?
Newsom just announced that the California National Guard seized a record 62,224 pounds of fentanyl in California and the state's ports of entry in 2023. According to him, that's enough fentanyl to kill the entire world population nearly twice over, assuming that a fatal dose is 2 milligrams for somebody who has not been exposed to that substance or other opioids.
And how much has the quantity that they've seized grown over the years?
Well, let me start with a little bit of a caveat here. This data provided by the governor is only for seizures supported by California National Guard operations. This may not be indicative of the entire flow, but in 2021, the CalGuards helped seize 5,334 pounds. 2022, that number went up nearly 6 times to 28,765 pounds, and then nearly doubled between 23 and 22 to 62,224 pounds. Of course, CalGuard has also been increasing the size of its deployments to the southern border, so it would make sense that you would see a commensurate rise just from increased activity by CalGuard. However, it does seem that with opioid deaths continuing to rise at a very high rate, that the amount of opioids being smuggled into the state is rising rapidly as well.
And what is the value of this much fentanyl if it were to be sold?
So 62,224 pounds is estimated to be about $649 million in value. This stuff gets mixed in with all kinds of other drugs. It gets mixed in with drugs that people don't even think there's going to be any fentanyl in it. It could show up in cocaine. It can show up in other pills where people think they're getting maybe black market OxyContin or codeine or other pain medications that they're trying to buy illegally. You really don't know what is being laced with fentanyl these days.
And the legislature continues to look for ways to respond to the ever-growing problems that fentanyl poses to the health and safety of Californians. What are the latest measures that they're considering?
Yeah, for reference, between August of 21 and 22, American officials estimated that there were about 108,000 overdose deaths, and 2/3 of those involved synthetic opioids, mostly fentanyl. So fentanyl clearly is having a major effect on the health of the American people. And legislators, they're doing what they can on a state level, perhaps not everything they can, but among this package of bills designed to combat fentanyl overdoses, we have one bill that's directed at having CalRx, which is the state-owned drug production group, to create fentanyl testing strips that can be really cheap, really accessible to end users. Another bill in California would encourage healthcare providers to issue 3-day prescriptions for Narcan, an opioid overdose reversal medication. It's not especially easy to get a Narcan kit if you are just an everyday person right now, but if doctors could give out prescriptions for pretty much anyone to have them, insurance company would be subsidizing it through a copay. May not even necessarily have to be for you. Maybe it's a good idea for all households to have nearby because you don't know who is suddenly going to be overdosing from what. Because, again, fentanyl is showing up in every drug these days. Even what you think are legal drugs that are just illicitly acquired could end up with fentanyl, like, some codeine or OxyContin. And we're just living in very dangerous times.
And that's what the testing strips are for, right? It's to be able to identify whether there's fentanyl in whatever it is that you're taking, correct?
Right. These are low-cost testing strips that are very effective at letting anyone know whether their drugs are going to be laced with fentanyl or not.
Thank you, Kenneth, for your insight on this story. Listeners can keep up with this story and more at thecentersquare.com. Get creative with Skillshare. Explore thousands of hands-on creative classes with one inspiring membership. Watch, play, learn, discover. Follow the link in our show description to join Skillshare today and get 1 month free.